Fresh Blood.
Hello and welcome to Fresh Blood, a monthly review strand available here on the Evolution of Horror Patreon. Here on Fresh Blood, usually you'll find reviews and recommendations for everything fresh and new in the world of horror. I'm Mike Munzer and I'm joined as always by my three co-hosts, Steph McKenna.
Hi Mike Munzer.
Becky Dark.
Hello Mike Munzer.
And Brad Hanson. Hello.
Hello!
Happy New Year, everybody. Steph, how was your Christmas?
Oh, I ate so much. Insane. I've gained like 3 stone just in the past 2 weeks. Yes, it was lovely, thank you. Lots of lying on the sofa.
Amazing. Brad, you spent it with your mum, right? With Nettie.
With Nettie
Aww.
being a problem as usual. There was a moment where I was cooking Christmas dinner. I've alleviated her of that duty, mainly due to her age and poor cooking skills. And the door was shut, and I was on my hands and knees with a shit little oven, trying to sort out roast potatoes and parsnips and stuff, and she came in to annoy me for the 8th time, and in front of the entire family I went, "The door is closed for a reason."
Oh, I love it.
My sister loved it. Someone finally told me mum off.
Wow.
Sounds like a classic Christmas. Incredible.
Yeah,
It's like family
classic.
stone round at their place.
Becky, how was your Christmas? Did you eat all of your Toblerone? I know you love a Toblerone at Christmas.
I don't want to talk about the Toblerone, Mike.
Oh, what?
Oh. Was there no
I've
Toblerone?
I've touched a Toblerone nerve. What happened?
I don't want to talk about it. There were triangular problems from triangular fiscal circumstances.
Wondered where that was going.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what did you do with this Toblerone? So this month is something a little bit different to our usual schedule. We do this every January. This month, instead of reviewing new releases, we're going to be taking a look back at the year 2025 in horror, and we are going to be counting down our combined Fresh Blood top 25 horror movies of 2025. So, before we get into our official countdown, let's just start with a few just overall questions and topics about the year 2025 in horror. Bradley, what do you reckon? Has 2025 been a good year for horror movies, would you say?
There's been a couple of standouts that, at least 7 that we can all agree were really good this year. But I've found when you look back to previous years, we've mentioned, was it 2022 and 2024, 2 incredibly strong years. It just feels a little passé. There's a couple of, as I say, really transgressive entries this year, but predominantly I haven't come away thinking banner year in any way.
Interesting. Steph, what about you? What did you think?
I guess it kind of depends on what you mean by good year for horror as well, really, because in terms of sort of, I don't know, visibility of the genre and its sort of commercial success and, the number of sort of big hitters, I guess, we've had from notable directors in one year, I feel like it's been quite strong. And we've had, the return of some much loved franchises like Final Destination, 28 Days Later, and like A-list directors and actors attached to a lot of them as well. So I don't know, I totally get Brad's point actually, but at the same time, I also think, I got films from Del Toro and Oscar Perkins and Ryan Coogler and the Philippou brothers. So it's sort of, there was a lot to kind of, a lot to get stuck into. A lot of big films this year. It's sort of a blockbuster horror year in a way, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like on a sort of industry level, it's been quite a good, strong year for horror, hasn't it? Like there've been a lot of stories about movies making way more money than anyone was expecting them to.
Absolutely.
Which is interesting. Becky, what do you think? Last year, our top were, Longlegs, The Substance, Red Rooms. I think they were our top 3 last year.
Yeah.
How does this year compare to last year, would you say?
Yeah, it's funny because like even the top 3 from my 15, I'd put up against those 3 that you've just listed from last year. But it's funny, like coming out of 2025, like I can't see myself looking back at 2025 and thinking like, oh yeah, that was a like banner year for horror. I think, I don't know, like 2018, 2022, like these still stick in my head. And I don't know that there's just been enough that has kind of changed the game. Like it's felt solid. I think maybe that's my main takeaway. It's felt solid, but it hasn't necessarily felt particularly game changing or that anything has like really blown my socks off. I don't think I've had a 5-star horror this year.
That's interesting.
So even the you know, the ones at the top of my personal 15 that I submitted are all 4.5. I don't think I've had a 5-er. So yeah, like it's, you know, it's been good. It's been solid. And you're right. You know, if you look at the numbers, I think in terms of the horror genre in general, in terms of it, you know, in terms of the audience and in terms of people that it's reaching and the sorts of directors who are still putting out like really quality stuff, then yeah. But like just as a personal horror fan, I don't think it's going to be one that sticks in my memory.
Brad, I think last year we had quite a high number of like franchise movies. What's the ratio been like this year, and how's the quality been in terms of like original properties compared to franchise movies?
I think we've certainly had an advent of some original properties that you look at things like Weapons and The Monkey and The Long Walk, despite it being an adaptation, they're all standalone new entries into things. I'm sure they're all probably going to get sequels and legacy sequels and bits and pieces in the future. But when you look at the actual sequels we've got this year in terms of the quality that we've got with those, there's two that I think are outstanding in Bloodlines and in Years Later. And then other stuff that also has some, you know, The Conjuring Last Rites, things that are doing interesting things. There's also been a lot of sequels and legacy sequels that have fallen way below par, which I'm sure we'll get to a little later on.
Yeah. What have been, Steph, have you noticed any like trends, any themes, any kind of dominant subgenres or anything like that this year?
Looking at my personal top list, I think we've had a lot of fun this year. I think there's been a lot of social satire and films that have like a comedy or sort of like blend comedy with thrills or have a sort of more absurdist quality, you know, like Final Destination and The Monkey. And yeah, I think we've been having more fun at the cinema, audience thrills over maybe, you know, films that are deeply atmospheric and dread-inducing and sort of creepy. Do you know what I mean? It's almost, I don't want to say moving away from prestige because that's not what it is, but, you know, we've really enjoyed Heart, Eyes and Companion and all of these films that feel like they're sort of, you know, partly designed to really have, you know, give audiences a good time. And then, I mean, as expected, we've had a lot of sort of reflection on current social anxieties, you know, AI again, social media, conspiracy-led stuff. But then we've also kind of gone back to those big hitter monsters, like the old school ones that, you know, give audiences a big scare. So we've had vampires, zombies, man-made monsters and werewolves.
Yeah. We've had Nosferatu, Wolfman, and Frankenstein, right, as well.
Yeah.
So some gothics coming back, which is interesting. Becky, last year we had it was like the year of nuns and religious horror and stuff, wasn't it? Have you noticed any big subgenres or any trends in that way?
I've literally noted down exactly what Steph has said. So I've sort of noticed. I even started to like annoy myself a little bit over this year when I would listen back to the Fresh Blood episodes and I'd be like, I'm not saying at any point that any of these are scary. Like what I keep saying is I laughed a lot. It was really fun. I'm like, this isn't a fucking comedy movie podcast.
Yeah.
But like that, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but I was like, I kept noticing like every episode I'd say like, yeah, it was really fun. Or like, I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
You know, the Monkey, Weapons, Bone Lake, even Final Destination, Together, Companion, even like The Ugly Stepsister, like they've all got this kind of like, not even necessarily like a comedy horror, but this kind of light-hearted bent to them, which, and I don't hate that at all. I like having fun when I go to the cinema. I'm absolutely fine with that.
Maybe that's what we've all needed in 2025, apparently.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, fair. And yeah, the other thing that I've spotted is absolutely that kind of gothic thing, with all the main monsters coming back. The only guy that we're missing really is my lad, the creature from the Black Lagoon. So hopefully 2026, fingers crossed.
Hopefully, there we go. I suppose we had The Shape of Water a few years ago and then it was kind of done, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Like. There was Dangerous Animals, I suppose.
Oh my God.
Lots of sharks.
That might pop up in a category for me soon. Brad, Have any studios kind of dominated this year? Blumhouse, A24, any of those types?
Yeah, Warner Brothers.
Right, there you go. Just that little one. Just that little studio.
Just that little a little engine that could Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
They released Weapons, Sinners, Final Destination Bloodlines, Conjuring Last Rites, and Companion, which, without any degree of spoilers, have all featured at some point in this top 20.
Yeah.
When you compare that to, I think the more boutique, we'll call them, labels have had some really good years. I think A24, as usual, had a good year, but I think they've had a good year outside of horror. I think a lot of the films they've made, Marty Supreme and If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, are a lot more interesting, really, than some of the horror stuff that they were putting out this year. And then Neon are always solid and bankable, and they always release a couple of good or transgressive movies every year. But yeah, Warner Brothers, by a country mile, have been the most consistently excellent outputter of horror in 2025.
I don't think there was a single Neon film in my top 15 this year.
Is Monkey?
The Monkey is Neon.
Is that Neon?
Yeah.
Neon?
Yeah. I've got here, I jotted down, so Neon released this year The Monkey and Keeper, so Oz Perkins movies.
Oh, okay,
and,
yes, fair.
And Together, I think, as well, might have been.
Okay.
Whereas, A24 had some slightly questionable, like Opus and Death of a Unicorn were both A24. Remember
But they
those
were
two?
Bring Her Back as well, right?
And they were Bring Her Back, to
Yeah.
be fair. Yeah, exactly. It's also been a bit of a Stephen King year, Steph, hasn't it, actually? Thinking about
It has, yeah. We've
Running
had
Man, Long Walk, The Monkey. Yeah.
absolutely the Stephen King. I don't want to say revival, but that sort of obsession that people have had in recent years of sort of going back and adapting his work is still sort of reigning strong, really, isn't it?
Brad, as the man who's probably seen the most films out of all of us this year, what has it been a good year generally outside of horror as well? Like, how's your like sort of non-horror top 10 compared to your horror top 10?
I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. There's a couple of fives, quite a lot of 4.5s and a couple of 4s to make up the top 10. Well, as usual, I haven't been bowled away by a year for many years, like 2013, 2014, since I was last like slack-jawed at how good a year had been. But, this year we had one battle after another, which I know you've just seen, Michael.
I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
I fucking knew you would.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
It's completely your movie. The Brutalist at the beginning of the year, which I loved.
Yeah.
It Was Just an Accident, which I was talking about on last month's Fresh Blood. Love that. Marty Supreme. Love that.
Oh.
Some good stuff. Friendship, that weird Paul Rudd, Tim Robinson movie. Yeah. Oh, I fucking love that movie so much. But yeah, so once again, a solid year, but not one I'll look back on and think, wow.
Steph, I'm trying to work out, is your favourite going to be Pillion with Skarsgård, or is it going to be Marty Supreme with Timothy Chalamet?
Fuck's sake. I don't know why you'd bring me into this conversation. I think Marty Supreme probably just pips it for being like a totally unpredictable breakneck ride, really. Just so good. But yeah, Pillion, brilliant. One battle after another, like you said. Really loved Sentimental Value.
Oh yeah,
Brutalist, Caught Stealing. Nickel. I quite like Nickel Boys. There were quite a few films this year, non-horror films, that I thought were sort of, in terms of critical reception, were a really high standard.
Becky, what's been your favourite sort of non-horror film this year? Do you have a fave?
Pillion would be up there, definitely. I really loved Sorry Baby by Eva Victor. I thought that was amazing. And weirdly, like, I did a bit of a look at female directors in my top 15s from the last couple of years as well. And last year, so 2024, I had double the female directed or non-binary directed horror films in my top 15 as I did this year.
Yeah.
So this year it was like 3, last year it was 6.
It's been a bit more dude heavy this year.
It's been very dude heavy. Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder if that
Sorry Baby is a hard recommend. I think it's great.
I'm going to get this entirely wrong stats wise, but I'm sure I read something the other day about, like the top 100 ranked films of the year. It's like single digits of women. It's like 6 directors or something. are women. It's been an interesting year for that.
What about the biggest actual grossing horror films of the year? Brad, what do you think of this top 5? These are the top 5 biggest grossing horror films of the year worldwide. Number 1, The Conjuring: The Last Rites, which made $495 million. Then Sinners at number 2. Then Final Destination: Bloodlines at number 3, which is great. Number 4 was Weapons. And then number 5, FNAF 2. What do you think of that as the 5 biggest horror films of the year?
Well, I love 4 of those. I find it astounding that film only came out in December and it's already made 223 million.
So that would have been number 1 probably by a long way
if it had a bit more time behind it, which I weep for the world in that sense. My homeboys in The Conjuring are still going strong, which, like it or not, they are entertaining movies that I think a lot of people gravitate towards, and that's clearly evidenced by nearly $500 million box office. That's crazy numbers.
Insane. But I'm so pleased, particularly for Sinners and Weapons, right? Like, that's
absolutely
just 2 like completely original properties doing that well.
I'm so pleased for Final Destination's Bloodlines.
Good for Final Destination as well.
Honestly,
that's probably because that franchise famously is expensive to make compared to all other kind of big slashery franchises.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's done that well, hopefully we're going to get more of those, right?
Well, I hope so. And for it to come back, obviously it's such a favourite from kind of our generation of horror moviegoers. And for it to come back after we thought it was dead in the water after 5, when they had kind of wrapped it up so neatly. And obviously there was all of those tales about, the director's pitch, and we sort of thought, oh yeah, it sounds like this is in good hands, but you never know. Yeah. And they fucking delivered. And that was like such a treat this year. So I'm glad that isn't something that like we just got something out of as existing Final Destination fans, and it really did the numbers at the box office as well.
Yeah. Love that. Let's go negative for a moment, shall we? Brad smiles. He's like, yeah, here we go. Most disappointing movie. So maybe one that you had high expectations for that didn't deliver. Steph, do you have a most disappointing horror movie?
It's probably between Osgood Perkins' Keeper, which I was really pumped for, but I found very unimaginative and lazy. And also, I didn't like Soderbergh's Presence. I felt it was really let down by its script, personally. So I was, really pumped for both of those, and then came out being like, oh, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, that's fair. Becky, what about you?
Yeah, you mentioned it just now, actually. Opus. I thought it had such an incredible cast. I thought it had like a pretty interesting premise, this idea of a kind of huge, like iconic music star who had kind of gone under the radar and, was a recluse. And then they had this bit and this sort of summit at his house and all of that. Like Malkovich, come on. And it was just a nothing movie, to the point that when I was sort of starting to think of, what could my top 15 be off the top of my head, I forgot this film even fucking existed. It was A24, it had a killer cast. I remember the trailer looking like really exciting, and I watched it, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was pretty bad, wasn't it?
A nothing movie.
It was. Brad, what about you? Most disappointing?
It's got to be Keeper. I was so hard for that movie, and I ended up so bitterly disappointed. Just so it wasn't an Osgood Perkins movie. Besides the fact that, it has some of his flourishes, it's just completely devoid of anything interesting, and it became very, 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 very obvious where it was going, and I just it depresses me to this day.
That is sad. I think for me, it's that movie Him, the one that I thought had so much promise in a way by what it was going to explore, the kind of American football, NFL body horror thing.
As a huge American football fan, Mike, you were so excited for it.
Well, this is it, right? This is it. But I thought even as somebody that doesn't know about that stuff, that could be a really interesting premise for a film, and a horror film particularly. But no, it was an absolute fucking mess. And I would also say Shelby Oaks too, which I had high expectations for because I heard a lot of buzz, and I actually thought the first 10 minutes was really good. I thought it had a really good setup, and then it makes a certain decision about 15 minutes in, that I was really upset by. And
Just
then
shits the bed.
it really shit the bed for me and never got me back for the rest of the movie. So yeah, that was disappointing. What about the most overrated movie then? Movies that have been celebrated this year that you don't get the love for, Steph?
It was Eddington. I just think Eddington was like...
Eddington, yeah, okay.
I just thought...
That's really split people, hasn't it, I think? 50-50.
Fucking pissed me off. Yeah, it was overwrought and messy and uncomfortable, but not in the way I think it was supposed to be, for the wrong reasons. I still love Hereditary, but God, it's put me off Ari Aster quite a bit. I have to say, I think it's totally overrated.
Well, it's really divisive, isn't it? I finally watched it for the first time, and yeah, I didn't dislike it as much as you and Becky. I didn't like it as much as Brad. Ari Aster is getting too self-indulgent for me. I felt the same way about this as I did about Beau is Afraid, which is that it feels like such an indulgent movie. And it has some amazing set pieces. There was the odd scene that I thought, this is brilliant. And then other stuff where I just thought, get on with it, you know? Brad, what about you? What was your most overrated horror film of the year?
I used the letterbox thing where I looked at my rating versus what its average score was, because I was kind of struggling, because the one I want to say I'll get in trouble for. So
Bring Her Back, isn't it?
It's Bring Her Back.
It's a little bit that. It's also a little bit Sinners, if I'm honest with you. I think it's a bit overrated. However, my actual answer is The Black Phone 2, which seems to be pretty well liked on Letterboxd, and no one dies in it, so it's a bad horror film.
Amazing. Becky, overrated?
Okay, so don't hate me, but mine is Del Toro's Frankenstein.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you give that quite a lot of stars? No, you didn't give it quite a lot of stars.
No, I gave it like 3.5. And
okay.
I think don't get me wrong, I think it's fine, but I think it's overrated and it's not in my top 15. And it's fine, but people have been like spunking all over it. But if I'm not being mean and saying Del Toro's Frankenstein, then I'd say Good Boy, where everybody was like, "Oh, it's so terrifying," blah 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 blah. It's like, it's not. It's an idea that has a cute dog in it and has nothing else to offer.
It's interesting because I think this might be one of the first years where a lot of the negative picks we're coming up with are also in other people's top 15s. Like, there have been a lot more individual picks. I think the first 8 or 9 movies in our top 25, just one of us has, right? And sometimes some of them are actively disliked by other people here as well. So that's kind of interesting. And on that note, I think I would maybe say Nosferatu for me is one of my most disappointing, just because I love the original Nosferatu. I love Robert Eggers. I thought that was an absolute match made in heaven, and it didn't quite give me... I didn't think it was bad, but it wasn't as brilliant as I maybe thought it was going to be in my head, I suppose. And what about... And we'll go positive again after this, but one final negative question. What was your out-and-out worst horror movie of 2025? Brad?
I got 2.
Go on.
Am I allowed 2?
You're allowed 2.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Yeah.
And The Woman in the Yard.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
I bet you all just forgot about that fucking movie. Well, that movie stinks.
Steph, worst of the year?
Was it Goat Boy or whatever it was called?
Hey, that isn't even in my bottom, honestly.
You actually didn't mind that.
Had some strong qualities, I'm telling you. That was the one time I put my neck on the line. I was like, after that, Brad can watch Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm not doing it anymore. It was probably The Strangers Chapter 2 for the second year in a row. Yeah, cannot believe that Rennie Harlin has the audacity to make us watch 3 films out of this. Although there is a very memorable moment with an animal attack that, you know.
Oh my God.
But apart from that, fucking hell, just repetitive and irritating, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the same, obviously, Strangers Chapter 2. But if I was going to say another one as well... Dangerous Animals does spring to mind to me as like one of the. I mean, you remember my face, Becky, watching that movie.
Mike, you were so cross.
It was a serial killer movie that also featured a killer shark, and it wasn't a good serial killer movie or shark movie. It was totally bland. I turned to you at the end of it, Becky, didn't I? I just went, well, that was shit.
Yeah.
So there you go. Becky, what about you? Worst movie of the year?
So it would be Shelby Oaks.
Right.
Which I just thought was absolute fucking drivel, and it looked so bad. But there is one that is worse than Shelby Oaks, which is hilarious to me because it remains my one and only review that I've been asked to do for Empire magazine. And after I reviewed this film, they haven't asked me back, which is
for God's sake,
crazy. I guess because I gave Fear Street Prom Queen 1 star as my first ever review for Empire magazine. And
Empire don't like giving 1 star.
They don't.
Like,
they don't.
Yeah.
Now, I am slightly gratified by the fact that out of all of the films in my stats on Letterboxd from 2025, Fear Street Prom Queen is the lowest rated film across all of the like on average.
Right, yeah.
Of all of the films that I saw last year. So I'm like, okay, do you know what, Empire? I got it right. Ask me back.
Yeah.
I'll do more. I can be more of a trendsetter for you. Give me more shit to watch. It is absolutely without redeeming feature. It is just complete gash. I hated it.
Bring back gash, as a term.
And bring back gash.
Bring back.
Also-
I never let it go, babe.
Never let the gash go.
It never left Becky's house. No. Well, there you go. Love that. Let's get to. We're going to go do some super quick fire awards, horror Oscars. Okay. Best actor in a horror performance this year, Bradley.
Indy the dog from Good Boy.
Lovely.
Fair.
Becky.
I'm going to contradict myself and say Jacob Elordi from Frankenstein.
Oh, interesting. Steph.
Michael B. Jordan as Smoke and Stack in Sinners.
Yeah, that was also mine. Best actress in a horror film of the year, Bradley.
Elvira from The Ugly Stepsister.
Oh, yeah, Leah Myron. Lovely choice. Becky, best actress.
Amy Madigan from Weapons.
Yeah.
Gladys.
Nice. Steph, I reckon you're going to go the same as me. Go on.
Sally Hawkins and Bring Her Back.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Best screenplay, best script of a horror film this year, Bradley.
The Long Walk.
Ooh, lovely. Adapted screenplay. I like it. Becky?
Zach Cregger, Weapons.
I would also go Zach Cregger, Weapons. Steph?
Third, Weapons.
Yeah. Best direction, best director, Bradley.
Zach Cregger, Weapons.
Nice. Becky?
Ryan Coogler, Sinners.
I would also go Ryan Coogler, Sinners. Steph?
Oh, it's like The Singers or Bring Her Back. Philippou Brothers.
Yeah. Best scare. We've said there hasn't been a huge amount of good scares this year, right? Brad, what's been your favourite scare of 2025?
I wouldn't call it a scare, really, but fork to face.
Oh.
Weapons certainly elicited a response out of me that went, oh, I don't like that at all.
Very good. Becky?
Yeah, I struggled. I literally ended up like Googling jump scares from 2025, because I couldn't fucking think of anything. I know I don't really have anything. The only thing that really like sprung to mind was, and it's not really scary. It's just like the thing that elicited the biggest response was the like closet gunshot in The Monkey.
Oh yeah, that's
when
good.
when the real estate agent opens the closet and gets shot in the fucking face. It was amazing.
Steph?
Mine was from Weapons as well, but it was the bit where Julia Garner's in the car asleep. Staking out that house.
The little snip, snip.
The front door opens and that fucking crazy silhouette of that woman comes out holding a knife and sort of starts marching manically towards her, and then the passenger door opens.
Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely shatter brick. Horrible.
There are a couple of good... There's a dream sequence that Josh Brolin has in that film too. Which was a good jump scare. Followed by a really funny laugh out loud moment when he wakes up in his kid's bedroom the next morning. But I'm going to go for me, there was one movie that really scared me. I'll get into it in a bit, but that's Horror in the High Desert 4. And there is a moment inside a mining tunnel that is my favourite scare of the year. So there you go. And finally, best gore moment. Bradley, as our gore expert, what's been your favourite gore moment of the year?
Gorespondent.
Yeah, good.
There's a few that tickle my pickle. Chewing on a knife in Bring Her Back
Yeah.
Yeah.
is a good one. anything in The Ugly Stepsister when it comes to body modifications.
Yeah, I'm going Ugly Stepsister. This film, I literally knocked off a star off of my review on Letterboxd because I couldn't eat my lunch after I watched it. It's the medieval Ozempic from Ugly Stepsister, which is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Steph's shaking her head. Steph, what would you go for?
I think it's the MRI scene in Final Destination Bloodlines.
Oh, that's good.
Toe curling. Oh.
Yeah, some good gore in that. I think mine have been said, but two cutlery related incidents, the kitchen knife in Bring Her Back and the fork stabbing in Weapons. I think both of those are the bits that made me go blah.
I've just remembered, sorry, my other honorable mention is suicide by shotgun in Begonia.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Oh yeah,
love that. All right, well there we go. Enough preamble. Let's get into it, shall we? We are going to kick off our top 25 horror movies of 2025. To listen to the rest of the episode, sign up to our Patreon. Patreon.com/evolution of horror.